This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be responding to another one of our subscribers, Barnabas Stinson. Can you type Snoop Dogg? So we'll look at Snoop Dogg today. We are still doing the free typing sessions by us. All you have to do is join our Facebook group or Discord and message our moderator Cody, and he will set that up from there. I think when we get to 50, we're going to stop doing typing sessions. Just move on from some other stuff. Takes up quite a bit of time. So yeah. So personality database, the monkeys. Over there have Snoop Dogg as the ISTP. Okay. We're going to use Linda Barrens metrics and cognitive functions to figure out his actual type. That's with temperament and interaction styles. And if you are trying to take your MBTI knowledge to the next level, you can pick up Dario Nardi's Udemy courses. We're going to have those in a link below. Dario takes you from how to find your type to the end where he's talking about the 500 brain scans that he's accumulated over a period of time. I think it's the best course out there. If you're really trying to avoid misinformation, that's where you really want to go. But let's look at the chart. They got him as ISTP, okay? So ISTPs are direct, they're responding, they're concrete, they're progression, they're pragmatic, the TIFE and SENI, okay? So if he fits those metrics, he'll be an ISTP. If he doesn't, we'll just laugh again at personality database. But yeah, let's go over the metrics here. So you have initiating versus responding, okay? Are they initiating conversation? Are they changing the topic? Are they just an extrovert by being gregarious and things like that? Feel very comfortable leading the conversation and whatnot. That's going to be more of the initiating, okay? So that's going to be the extroverts. And so what happens in the brain is that extroverts primarily use the front of the brain. So it's quicker to get it out, as in introverts, information has to travel to the back of the brain. So they're going to be more responding. They're going to be reflecting. They're going to be staying on topic. They're not going to really introduce anything new. They may dive deeper into questions or whatnot, but that's going to be primarily their role, and that's going to be the responding, the introverts. Then you got abstract versus concrete. Okay, these are going to be your intuitives versus your sensors. Abstract people are all about the what if, what is possible. They're future focused. They're talking about philosophies, intangible things outside of the five senses. And concrete people are going to keep it relatively the same. Nothing abstract. Nothing outside the five senses. They're going to be talking about experiences, pretty much dry, boring, right to it. Then you got systematic versus interest. Okay, so yeah, your systematic types, this is going to be your STs, and your SJs, and your NTs. And then you got the interest, which is going to be your SPs and your NFs. Okay, systematic people, they're looking at the best way to do something. They're trying to improve a system. They use structures to get control over their life. And then you have the interest and motive people. They're always looking at, like, what is someone getting out of a situation? What's the motive behind something? They're interested in people. People like motives and stuff like that. And they'll generally talk about that. And they always know what they're getting out of a situation. For myself, I always take, if I'm going to like purchase a car or something, I take an interest-based buddy with me. I took Christian with me, and I'm telling you, that man talked these people down like $5,000 on my car. So it does help to take someone who's interested, because they always know how to haggle, or they just know how to negotiate things very well. So you got direct versus informative. Are they specific, concise, and to the point? Are they choosing their role in the conversation? Is it easy to interpret, or are they informative? Are they giving information? So the role of informative is to give information and allow other people to choose. So they give you a lot of extra information. They can be wordy, passive. They're not going to be like directing you. They're not going to be pushing you to do anything. They may give you the information, but they're really not forcing you. As in direct people, it's kind of forceful language. They generally like to tell people what to do. The responding direct, not as much, but generally they will like it more than somebody else. And then there's the informative, like we said, they're very wordy, descriptive, beating around the bush, taking a passive role in the conversation. That's gonna be them. And then you got the pragmatic versus the filter. Pragmatic is all about doing what's effective and what works, and the filter is about doing what's right. Pragmatic is another word for utilitarian mindset. Rebellious, contrarian. They're gonna be individualistic. And then you have a filter, which is all about the collective. It's about inclusion. It's about being interdependent. That type of thing. And then you got outcome versus progression. Outcome is generally where is things going for them. Are they looking at an end product? Is that what they're hunting down? Are they hunting down the end product, or are they on a journey? And if they get the outcome, it's okay. If they don't, they're still moving. And how that looks is like progression people, when they talk, it flows like a wave. It flows very well. As with outcome people, you can generally spot the outcome they're looking for. Like everything is like going towards one end product. Are they okay if they don't get the end product? Okay. I know for myself, the journey means absolutely nothing if I don't get the outcome. I would honestly feel like I wasted my time. But progression people don't see it that way. And you got SE and NI. SE is all about manipulating the environment. So they're gonna be talking about what other people are doing. They're gonna be talking from a third person perspective. They're gonna be using the we, the they, the us, the stuff like that. And then NI, it's all about the best path forward, what will happen, what's most likely to happen, what's in the future, that type of thing. And then you got the SI and NE. SI is all about the past, referencing the past to see if it is congruent with today, and noticing those things that are different. People with high SI generally will have better memories. They attach memories to sensations, internal sensations. They're gonna care about comfort. They will a SI user can usually spot like when something's like too hot or like too cold or something. And then you got NE. NE is all about the what if, about consequences. It's about just how things divergent, multiple pathways. They're not just looking at one. Like NI is looking at one way to do things a lot of times. Then you got TEFI. TE is all about outside sources. It's all about pretty much methods, statistics, things like that. And then you have FI, which is all about what's important to that person. And then you got TIFE, and that's basically the bulk of understanding. Are they looking at trying to understand logical frameworks, or are they trying to understand people? That would be FE. But let's get into this. Let me make sure I got that. And comment below, and please subscribe to the channel. That helps us grow the group. That helps us grow as a team, and we're all about giving back to our team. That's the purpose of all of this. We want to have the best group on the planet, Mongolian Mindset. So join the team, guys.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV
and comment below what you think Snoop Dogg's type is.
Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Living legend.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. Snoop D-O double G.
What's up, Blair?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm slow motion.
What made you want to do a gospel album?
The climate of the world that we're living in right now, all of the negative energy, everybody trying to answer each other with negative forces. So I felt like just dropping something that was positive that could reflect back on love and just put some love in the air as opposed to me being ignorant and matching the energy that's out there.
So he wants to put a little bit of love out there. I can say that to FE. Okay, we'll give him point for FE now. He's talking about energy there. We'll see how that goes, it seems.
Religious person?
I'd say that I'm very religious, but you wouldn't know if you didn't know me.
Where?
Sometimes it's hard too because you see a lot of things happening that I know, like Kanye, the things that he had to say about Trump. You have to fight that with positivity, and I've heard you say that before. You got to fight the negative with the positive, and then the whole Vicky situation where she just started talking crazy for no reason. And I know that takes a lot to be like, woo.
Snoop ain't respond with no positivity to Whoa Vicky.
He got sometimes, we do have the devil in us sometimes.
Right,
but the devil's a lie. You got to rebuke him. Rebuke the devil, Lord.
He apologized after.
I did. I really did, didn't I?
Yeah, you
I've
did.
grown up,
She
haven't I?
apologized.
I apologize after it. I'm gonna say it's pragmatic, asking for forgiveness after he did so. That's pragmatic. Okay.
First, I had to say she looked scared to death too. Like something happened.
Because you didn't see all the people dressed in blue on the other side of the camera.
You damn fool, you.
Now, were you a gospel fan or gospel music fan? Like,
Yes. If you listen to my early music, I always had certain quotes and certain lines that would let you know that I was close to God, that it was some sort of spirit that was in me. My mother, my grandmother raised me that way. I mean, I loved the Clark sisters, Rance Allen, the Winans, Shirley Caesar, James Cleveland. It was a bunch of gospel music that was in my life and in my circle that I had the opportunity to, be blessed to hear. And some of it rubbed off on my music, and some of it was just in me. And then now was the time for me to actually just do what I do.
Yeah, I think about when you got found not guilty back in the day on American. The first thing you did was drop down and
Yes, sir.
start praying.
Yes, sir. A
Immediately.
lot of us wait till we win an award to thank God, or, we get in that position. But if you look at what's happening and look at what's going on, when you do see a rapper win an award and he says, I want to thank God, that must mean he's connected to him in some form or fashion. Right. So you got to look at that part of it. It's not just a gimmick or you just saying that because that's cool to say, but you really saying it because you mean it.
Have you ever rolled weed up in Bible papers?
I ain't gonna lie. When we was in we was in London like 1996, and we didn't have no papers, and they ran out, and we needed to hit something bad, and the homie was like, we need to use the first page of the Bible.
Bibles in every hotel
That's
room.
the thinnest piece of paper, just the first page.
And ain't no scriptures on it either.
Nope, we took that first
The
page
big
and
page.
cut him up in like 5 different pieces and made 5 joints out of it.
All right, I'll say it's pragmatic again.
Father, forgive me.
Gracious. I would have to say you're probably one of the only artists that can play with any genre of music and don't lose it and people don't look at you crazy.
You know what it is? Because I understand the genre. It's not me just...
Because I understand the genre. I'm gonna say that's for understanding. I'm gonna say that's T.I.
I woke up one morning and wanted to do reggae. Now, I always had reggae in me, and when I flew to Jamaica, the spirit of reggae took over me, and it became me. It became my life because I was there and I was doing it. Now, with the gospel record, it's always been in me, so if I jump into a gospel project...
See, that's what I don't really like. Because that sounds abstract there. I don't put a point for abstract. Okay? Even though I don't really like to look at God and stuff like that as abstractions, because someone's heavy religious, they may not be abstract, they just may be SI, or whatnot. You'll see that. I generally don't like to use God for abstraction, but I'll let him slide with this one.
It's not like this is something I'm just starting to do. It's always been in me. Now I can actually exercise the ability of making this kind of music with artists who do this style of music.
Are you bored with hip hop? Is that why you do it a little bit too?
I wouldn't say I'm bored, but you got to know when it's time for you to take the backdrop and take the high road. I mean, I've been on top for a long time in the hip hop industry. Now I see myself sliding to the back, which is cool with me because I respect the
Sliding
youngsters.
to the back, I was been on the top, sliding to the back, I'm gonna say that's progression.
that have the game in control right now. And I don't have no problem with trying to be what I'm not. I had my run. Like Baby Girl was on it the other day. She said she had her fun in the sun. Now she is the sun.
Jennifer Lewis, yeah.
I feel that same. I felt that line for real. I felt like I've had my day in the sun. And now I am the sun. Because I shine on everybody and I give everybody the opportunity to shine when they're with me. I'm not a hater. I don't, crush your dreams or your spirits, whether you're a new artist, whether you're an artist from the South, whether you're an artist that's trying to be like somebody and trying to figure out who you're trying to be. I don't, throw no stones at you because I understand you may be trying to develop who you are.
But at this
I understand you might be trying to develop who you are. That looked like that was a lot of FENTI.
same time, you're like, what is hip hop coming to?
Yeah,
At
because
certain
I'm a-
times when you see people going on social media,
Yeah.
and that's how they're getting their clout.
Because I was raised off of hip hop the appropriate way. As far as like my elders taught me, the Run DMCs, the Rakims, the LL Cool J's, the Ice Cube, they
Name
taught
drop.
us the right way of hip hop.
T.
Because they would not allow you to not be dope, not be original, not have style. You had to have all of these criterias and credibilities to work with your style in order for you to be appreciated by those forefathers who were in hip hop. I believe that it's our fault, the generation of the 90s, because we did not teach. We got the game, we took control, we ran with it, and we didn't bother to teach like it was taught to us. So then when the next generation gets a hold of it, if they're not taught, they're gonna teach themselves. So I feel like it's our fault, the second generation, and I'm one of the ones who didn't teach. That's why I take my time to teach now, because I understand as a grown man.
I understand as a grown man. Let's go back to the TIFE.
As an older rapper, I can fall into the position of Uncle Snoop and not try to be some old rapper that's hating because your style is dope, you got colors in your hair, you drink lean, you do this. Hey man, do your thing. I don't understand it, but do your thing. 'Cause they didn't understand.
TIFE, they didn't understand me.
Damn me, when I came out, when I was cripping, when I was gangbanging, I was doing my thing. They didn't understand that. They ran over my CDs, they tried to bash me, they banned me from certain countries, but I surpassed and I became who I am.
Oh, my father.
I surpassed and I became who I am. That's progression. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and slap him for TI. He's a TI user. Snoop is a TI user. He's always talking if you see the way he's talking, he's always going back to understanding, whether it be understanding how people feel or was understanding what he missed or he wants to understand, and he keeps going back to that. So sometimes when you're seeing, like, sometimes they name drop or sometimes they say like a FI thing, but what is the general scheme here? His general scheme is under understanding. So he's a TIFE user. So let's go to the chart. With that being said, he could only be an INFJ, ENFJ, INTP, ENTP, ISFJ, ESFJ, ISTP, and ESTP. Just because he's a TI user. Okay.
I hated that I used to listen to you.
He did?
And my father was, he was a James Brown, George Clinton type of guy.
Yeah.
So I used to have the big afro and the chucks. And when you had that case, you think you Snoop? You see what he going through? He made me cut my hair because.
Well, now he can listen to Bible. Now he can listen to Bible of love and really
but now as
He cut it to the root. He gave him a cavatis. Give him a cavatis. I want it all gone.
but now he loves Snoop just because of your
Snoop,
personality.
he's grown into a grown man. I'm a grandfather now. I've grown into
I've grown into this. I've grown into that progression journey, baby.
full grown man. I came out as a 19-year-old rapper that didn't really have no understanding. I was on Death Row Records.
See that? Didn't really have no understanding. He's going back to that again.
Wasn't teaching us nothing. We was wild. We was crazy. We was doing
We
what
was
we
wild.
wanted to
We
do.
was crazy. We was pragmatic. SENI. We was wild. We was crazy.
You get what I'm saying? Then when I got with No Limit Records, I learned business. Then when I stepped away from No Limit Records, I got with Pharrell and got back with Dr. Dre, and I understood.
That's progression again. I did this with this group, then I did this with this group, and then I learned the understanding here, and then I got back with Pharrell. That's progression.
What I was supposed to be doing, and then I created a lane for myself.
Then I created a
reinvented
lane for myself. That's SENI.
I did things to diversify my portfolio. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a football coach. I wanted to do everything that I wanted to do, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I ain't gonna ask nobody. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it with love.
I ain't gonna ask nobody. I'm gonna do it. It's pragmatic. And I'm gonna do it with love. I'm gonna say that's FE.
Question, and I don't like this. If Tupac was alive today, would he be considered a clout chaser?
Tupac would be doing everything, and I said this on an interview a while back, that Biggie and Tupac would be doing exactly what I'm doing right now, because we're the same age, same peers. We would have had kids and grandkids, and we would have grown into the guy that I am.
No, not adult Pop.
Oh, the young Pop?
young Pop. Would he be, if he was in this era at 20-something years old?
Hell no.
Okay.
Because he was different. Like, he's word of mouth. You heard about what Pac did. Clout chasers are telling you what they doing and trying to become famous.
So he just broke that down, definition style. T.I.
Famous became, man, Pac shot 2 police officers. Where? In Atlanta? For real? Man, Pac did this over here, all for real?
It's SE. This
Something
all
happened in
SE.
L.A. that y'all don't know about. When some niggas tried to run up on him and jack him, he pulled that thing out and had to pop at some niggas in L.A. years back, which we got the word of mouth and we respected him that much more. And to me, that's what he was. He was one of them, he'd do something and the word of mouth get out. He didn't really speak on it. You spoke on it or you spoke on it. Then it
he's direct. Okay. Snoop Dogg is direct. Let's go. With that being said, that eliminates all the informative types. So with him being direct and a TIFE user, we are looking at INFJ, ENFJ, ISTP, and ESTP. Those are the four. Okay. NFJs and STP. Keep going. He's pragmatic.
Became legend based off of the fact
He's an
that,
STP, but
you know, man, I heard Pac shot 2 police. Did he? I don't know. They said he did. Then you see the movie, you see the police officers get shot. You're like, damn, it must be true.
And so Pac shot at more than 2 cops. Pac shot at some dudes that tried to run down on him.
You think that was his first time shooting? You ain't never see footage of him in the range?
Wow.
you ain't
Most
never seen
niggas
this?
don't practice.
Wow.
We get our practice the day of the shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
Pac was ready for war.
man,
I'm
that,
gonna say he's prag. Okay, so we're looking at the STP, either ESTP or ISTP. You got enough to call him pragmatic. So we're looking at either ESTP or ISTP. That's what Snoop Dogg is. And he's primarily doing this. So we can already look at that. But he's primarily doing that. And he's progression. So it's about over here. All we need is one more progression and he will be an ISTP. Ladies and gentlemen, one more. And he is hardcore responding. We could have nailed him for that already.
nigga was ready, man. He had a military mind. When he got on Death Row Records after we brought him to us, he and me sat down and he structured some shit to me that I never knew and understood to this day.
See, he structured some shit to me because why Tupac is systematic. Remember we typed Tupac ENTP.
The Art of War. And it was a...
Sun Tzu.
Yeah, he was breaking this shit down to me. I was not a nigga that was listening back then. But he was telling me, look, this is how we gonna do it. Chain of command. Everybody on my team talk to me. Everybody on my team talk to Whoop. They don't talk to us. So it was like some different like shit. So it was a certain situation that happened when we was in police and Corrupt and him and got into it. And he said something to Corrupt and Corrupt said something to him and he looked at me and was like, nigga, this nigga ain't supposed to be talking to me, and I forgot all about the rules and shit.
That's it, man. Yo, definitely, bro. Tupac's informative, dude. Come on. He ain't direct. Can't get the shit out right. And they'll understand him.
So then now him and Corrupt getting into it serious, like getting really into it.
Did they fight?
Nah, they got really into it, right? So then the nigga told Corrupt, he looked at me, he told Corrupt, he said, nigga, you ain't even on my level. I had a motherfucking outlaws fuck you up. And then Nate Dogg stepped up and said, what the fuck we supposed to do when that's happening? And then Dad stepped up. And then it looked like it was finna go down. And then MC Hammer stepped in and Suge stepped in. And they put water on the fire. And it fizzled down. But that was a situation where he was explaining war to me. And I didn't understand it. And I didn't relate a message to the homies.
Talking about understanding.
And it could have went bad based off of him trying to give me a military mind that I didn't have and wasn't prepared for.
Damn.
So what do you think about all these artists calling themselves the new Tupac and I'm just like Pac?
I mean, you could say that. I mean, basketball players, football players always emulate somebody that they want to be. It's not my right to
That's
say
a
that
T
you
comparison.
can't say that. But if you're going to say that, you should know the history of who this man is and understand what you're trying to become and what you
Talk about all this understanding, guys.
Emulating, because he was a great person, not just a rapper. Don't look at the thug in him. Look at the humanitarian work, the songs that he wrote for
Oh, look at this, all this FE.
women, the empowerment that he gave to black women, the songs he wrote for mothers, and just the things that he did that was out of the box. We only want to highlight the hit him up and all of the beef that he had, but it was things that he did that was so real. For example, I was getting into it with my girlfriend at the time. And we just kept getting into it. And all of the niggas on Death Row Records was like, man, fuck that bitch, nigga. You Snoop Dogg. You can have any bitch you want with you, some hoes, nigga. And that nigga Tupac came to me and said, man, fuck what they talking about. That girl love you. You need to marry her. And I listened to what he said, and I married my wife. And like 20-something years later, we still married.
Wow.
So it's like, this is the shit that this nigga did that nobody's seen. You only seen the ignorant side. Nigga, let's fuck him up and wipe the woe. But he was a real, loving, caring, compassionate man.
FE Child from Tupac.
If you really knew him, and if he loved you, he loved you hard.
Why would you listen to him though when he made I Get Around?
Because he seen something in my wife. He seen something in me that nobody else could channel. You know, when you young, you know what I'm saying, you moving, and you successful, and you having whatever you want, it's like somebody got to brace you. If you don't check yourself, you got to allow yourself to be checked. And he was one that I allowed to check me. And at that time, I was uncheckable. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I was the shit. I felt like I was like, nigga, I'm the dopest rapper in the world, nigga. I'm on the biggest, hardest label in the world. You know, all the shit that come with it, the bullshit. I was on bullshit. And he cleared my vision to where I could see exactly what's happening. And, you know, I'm thankful for that because at that time, imagine if I didn't marry my wife and I just would have been ripping and running and doing all the crazy shit. I may not be as strong as I am. Right. I look at all of the rappers in the game that have wives, that have strong women in their life.
Other people,
they're stable up top too. Their mental is strong.
That's real.
I look at the rappers that got hoes in their life or got a woman that's a hoe. Or, you understand me? Their life and their stability is not there because there's no stability at home. You can do what the fuck you want to do, so you go home, you do what the fuck you want to do. When you got a woman at home, envy will tell you, you can't do that shit. You got to fix this shit. You got to straighten it out. And want to straighten it out. Not because of the kids, because of y'all. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
That's real.
But sometimes men do have strong women at home and they still mess up.
It's still growing.
It's part of life. You have to grow into who you are. I wasn't always as good as I am, and I'm not perfect. I still fuck up. But at the same time,
when you say fuck up, what you mean, Snoop?
Like I fuck up, like in general.
Cheating, though, right?
Like I fuck up in general. Like I may do something out of pocket or look at somebody different.
Hey, Charlamagne trying to get him to say you cheated.
You know, follow somebody or do whatever I'm not supposed to do. That's part of life.
Pragmatic.
But the point is, I'm working on me, trying to be a better me. I'm working on spending more time with my wife, treating her like the queen that she is, letting everybody know that she's the boss lady, making more representation of her, as opposed to keeping her in the cut and me ripping and running and playing and doing what I want. When she's there, the play is real minimum now. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like to be able to possess that gift and say, you know what? I'm not ashamed no more.
Right.
I seen you put up a tweet about a week ago about how your wife makes you strong and how your wife pretty much keeps you on that same path and same line. And I felt that so much. And then to go to Kanye, and it was compared to Kanye's, and I was like, wow. Do you feel like he doesn't have that support at home because he's able to do? Because I was thinking, if some of the stuff that he said...
Look at Tupac. Not Tupac, Snoop Dogg. He is primarily responding here.
I said, my wife would have had me by my ear. She would have smacked me the back of the head. She would have took me through it in the river. Like,
right now.
Right. You know what I mean?
She's not going to sympathize with you and say, Envy's just... You know, thinking freely.
Free thinking.
That nigga, I'm slap the dog shit out you if you say some shit like that, nigga. If your kids is looking at you, what you doing, nigga? But what I'm saying is, and I hate to be black and white.
You need a black woman.
There's no black women in this life. Let's just keep that 100.
He's that straight,
like, that's real, man. I got aunties that a nigga they'll pull up, nigga, with them big old church hats on.
They'll do this.
Nigga, what's happening? What you on? Nephew? You bullshitting. We taught you way better than that. So it's like, it got to a point where it was like, it was funny, then it got sad. It was like, nah, man.
And his mom isn't in his life anymore, clearly. And
that's when I started to think that how she was instrumental in his life. Remember the music he was making when she was here and the spirit that he had? That's gone now. And if you never lost your mother, you don't understand that feeling. Right. So I had to sympathize with that and say,
he's talking about understanding.
You know what, maybe the women around him should, look into getting him some help from some women that's stronger than them. If I'm not the strongest man in my house, I'm gonna go seek some strength. Hey, Charlie Wilson, what's happening, man? Boosie Collins, I need to holler at y'all, man. Get me right, man. Get my spirit together. You can't be afraid to go seek help. You can't feel like, nobody can help you. I think they need to break that wall over there, because if you look at the people that went in that house with their mind straight, let's go to Lamar Odom.
Smoking crack.
Let's go to Kanye West.
We don't know how this gonna end.
Let's go to Rob Kardashian.
Fat and sloppy.
Okay, now I'm just saying.
Champagne
but
sloppy.
The women on point. $1 million deals. Walking the runway. Selling makeup. Emojis.
Should we be concerned for Travis Scott?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that?
Y'all better get that cup of tea away from that nigga. Travis, if you listening, get out now, nigga.
Have you reached out to Ye as the OG?
How can I reach out to him?
Oh, yeah, you're right. He did just give
I
me
don't
a
want
phone.
to be in that house with that cup of tea and motherfucker waving that. When I meet with the nigga, it's in the hood. Nigga, pull up.
You feel like Dad should have called the Crips on him though?
Come on, man. You can't take everything serious, man. Some shit is just done to be done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
like,
say that to Lil Vicky apologizing like she didn't have that gun.
I was like, look, she looked terrified.
but see, that's
She
why,
did like 5 apology
but see,
videos.
social media rubs certain people the wrong way, and that's the effects of it. Like,
Right.
Charlamagne is my nigga, it's my dog. Now, if me and Charlamagne get into it, and it look like we really serious, he may have some niggas with him that be like, man, fuck Snoop Dogg.
Right.
And then he got to clear the shit up and be like, nah, nigga, we was just on the radio, nigga, arguing, having a radio argument, nigga. Oh, fuck that nigga. That nigga said that. And then it becomes, this nigga's on social media, fuck Snoop Dogg, nigga, you shouldn't have dissed Charlamagne. Well, hold on, Charlamagne didn't even approve of that. But,
Now I can't come to LA.
you get what I'm saying?
You see how he went through a progression, and you see how Charlamagne just went straight to the outcome. Now I can't come to LA. Interesting.
Sure that you approved.
We're just gonna take that one part where you
Thank you.
said,
Make
fuck
sure the
Charlamagne.
nigga, make sure the nigga, see, there it is.
I'ma send it to Dad.
Thank you. Make sure y'all approve the message from the approver.
Now listen, when you hear youngins like Lil Xan say Tupac's music is boring. What do you
He's
think?
got a right to that opinion. That's the way he feel, man. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like my music that think I'm weak and I'm boring. I have to accept it, man. I take it on the chin. I mean, I'm not loved by everybody. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's a part of being a hip-hop artist. You got to know how to take the punches. Like, this shit has never been no easy road. It ain't never been no cool shit. Hip-hop started off from battling. You had to battle a motherfucker. So somebody throwing rhymes at you and you throwing rhymes at them and taking it. And at the end of the night, you may lose. How about that? Do you cry? No, you go back home and reload and get it together and get it, you know what I'm saying? There's some great battles that didn't happen where, you know, MC Shan against KRS-One. Who won? Shit, we think he won. Or we think he won. But at the end of the day, who won? I don't know. But it didn't make him stronger or weaker. It made him stronger.
Do you look back at some of your old lyrics, given the climate of what's happening today with women's empowerment, and be like, damn, that was kind of fucked up that I said that?
Nope, hell no. That was me. I love every motherfucking man. Fuck them hoes.
Pragmatic.
Man,
Fuck a
Snoop,
bitch.
don't say that.
No, I'm just saying that's me back then.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Now you're in the middle of the Me Too time zone.
okay.
Not now. I mean, not now. I'm saying at the time that I was making that music,
how you
that's
felt.
who Snoop Doggy Dogg was.
Right.
I can't change that. That's you look at Malcolm X, right? When he was red,
Damn right.
he was red like a motherfucker, right? Then when he became Malcolm X, that was not him anymore. So that's not me anymore. But at
Right.
the same time, I perform these songs, I do shows, I do that because it's a part of my catalog. But the person that made that song no longer exists. Because this is the person now, the father, the husband, the grandfather, the football coach. This is who I am now. So when I do these records, I feel some kind of way because I'm not that person. But then I'm sitting in the rocking in the crowd like telling me, "Do bitches ain't shit." Oh, man, you sure?
Not now.
Man, do it right now. And it's a woman telling me to do it.
Women were singing along and loving those songs just as much.
You talk about the progression,
I know
man.
y'all
You ain't the
right.
same person though, Bo, man.
Into our music.
Listen, we love
Even
it.
today, I still, and then I'd be like, damn, this did sound crazy. It does sound crazy now, but back then we was like,
You know when it's crazy for me? When my daughter listening to it. Now, when my wife listened to it, it don't bother me because she grew up with me.
and she knew what it was.
Exactly. When my daughter listened to it and I walk by the room and hear her listen to this shit and niggas sucking dick and all this and whoop, I'm like, hold on, what the hell? But time out.
How do you explain to your daughter it ain't no fun if the homies can't have
I can't
the-
explain it to her. She's
bitches ain't
19.
shit,
She's
but
19
tricks.
years old now, so the game is explaining it to her now. You gotta understand me as a father and a
T.I.
mother. You do your job to
F.E.
get them to a certain point, and then that's when your teachings have to be in their head, and now they have to take that journey, and then the rest is on them in
Talking
the
about
game.
the
They're gonna
journey.
learn from there.
And we didn't know that was rape culture back then.
That wasn't rape, coach. You
Yes,
gonna
it
try to
was.
make me like I was raping nobody.
No,
You
no.
knocked it off. You used to have a bitch from 1993 go, he raped me. Ain't no
Inches.
fun. No,
Remember
no.
outside the video when you had the condoms? and
No,
all the
no.
homies came in the
Yeah,
room?
exactly. With consent.
Now, you know Gayle King just said Oprah smokes weed, right? So who was the person you have smoked weed with that surprised
All right,
you?
we're
Like,
doing
damn,
it, man. Snoop Dogg's ISTP. That was hilarious. Snoop Dogg is always hilarious. All right, so let's go back here. Let's go ahead and get that. Okay, so he is progression. He's all about the journey here. He's not about outcomes. If you hear him talking, he's talking about who he is now and the progression from who he was when he was younger to now, and that's all progression. And he's responding. He's primarily responding. He's not initiating anything. So with that being said, he is an ISTP, ladies and gentlemen. They are SENI. We had that as well. Concrete. Okay. That's what they are. This is Mongolian Mindset, and we are out.